Well, I think the leading companies need to consider all of the changes that are happening to the workplace. If you think about how people are working today, the workplace is changing. How people work 9 to 5, where they work, their location, the amount of repetitive tasks that people work is decreasing. Then you also have to look at how people interact. So they're now much more mobile, the mobility is different, the apps they use are different, and their networks and the way they collaborate is different. I also think there's a generational change. If you think about the workforce moving through different generations, it used to be a lot of baby boomers and Generation X. Now it's beginning to shift to Generation X and millennials. Millennials have grown up with technology. They're very, very used to it. They've integrated into every aspect of their lives. And the pace of change that comes with technology is very, very fast. So companies that'll be successful in the workplace in the future will be designing work environments exactly around that. Seamless technology, people can just use. They don't need to have a lot of training. They need to be thinking about collaboration excellence, so how people work together, how quickly they can change and be flexible and be agile. And I think that flexibility and agility is incredibly important to build into the workplace, exactly because the pace of change is so fast. And companies can't afford to have people spending a lot of time learning and catching up on the latest technologies. It needs to just work so they can just be productive. There has been a strong focus on technology and the different technologies and apps and platforms and so on that are out there. But I do think in many cases we overlook that technology can be as good as the people that are using it. And I think in the case of work environments today, we see that a lot of people and users are starting to drive how IT is being used in the workplace. There was a recent study by the Queen's University in Charlotte, and they found that about 40% of millennials would pay for their own tools to be able to use them in their workplace because they found them more efficient and more effective. And we find that we have a great example of one of a company we work very closely with, News Corp, who found 7,000 of their employees were using Dropbox, and they decided to embrace this, and now they have 25,000 people in the company using Dropbox. But instead of it being a personal platform, it's now part of the business platform. And I think what I would see is forward-thinking CIOs and IT directors are very much looking at how do we embrace what users want along with strong business control. What I see is that users are voting for these new business models and this disruptive technology. And I think in the workplace, it's really important to understand that the users are also consumers who are voting for Airbnb and others are going to use that in the workplace as well. And so while we have this new technologies around us and future technologies, which are very exciting, driverless cars and automated remote surgery and all of that, in the workplace, we're still spending somewhere in the region of 30% of our time on email, on uploading, on downloading, on clunky workflows that slow down our productivity. So I think there's a huge opportunity for workflows to be disrupted, and I can see work environments where companies are embracing technologies that allow employees to be far more productive. Things like Slack, like Dropbox, like other tools that just allow them to get on with the work they're meant to be doing. The future of work for me goes back to something I said earlier, I think, which is around embracing change and embracing the pace of change, but most importantly, embracing the users and the consumers in that. I think the trend consumerization of IT is talked about a lot, but really that is what it's about. The more the millennials and Generation 2020 or whatever they're going to be called in the future come into the workplace, they have grown up with technology, they expect it to just work. And in a workplace, we need to be very cognizant of being able to bring in the technologies that they're using on a day-to-day basis, and somehow combine those with the business controls, making sure that security is paramount. When you have people using technologies outside of the workplace, it's not secure. But the cloud technologies, the on-premise technologies are all pretty secure. It's how the users use them can be an issue a lot of the time. And I think combining the users, combining the business control is really, really important aspect of the future of work.